Hello everyone, Dan the 14th Prime here. Today I want to share with you the King Arts 1/9 scale diecast figure series Ultron. This is from the Marvel Avengers Age of Ultron movie, of course. This is my first King Arts figure. I want to try to pick one up and check them out. They've looked pretty cool, seen some things online. Again, they are 1/9 scale, so a little smaller, a little cheaper than Hot Toys, of course, but I think it looks like they're doing some cool things. So really wanted to check one of their figures out and decided to pick up Ultron because I'd pretty much decided I wasn't going to pick up the $375 Hot Toy Ultron. So I ordered this guy from Robot Kingdom. He was $180, and then shipping him in import on a relatively expedited basis was like $60. So about $250 all in versus $375 for the 6 scale Hot Toys, just to give you some sense of sort of size and price difference. But here you've got the front of the box. It's got a prototype picture of the toy on the front of the box there. In the back, it's got some kind of grayscale artwork of his face, his eyes, you can see there. When you flip it around the side of the box, you can see that grayscale artwork of his face kind of just carries over. This is like one of those cheek things that stick off, for example. And then you come around the back, and again, it's another product shot of the toy and all kinds of different product information. So the packaging's nice. It's a simple shoebox, good artwork on it, well printed, nice sturdy box. The one quirk is up here, kind of along the right-hand side, right up through here. It still has this kind of disclaimer in pretty large font on the right side of the box. It says, hey, this is a prototype. A final product may vary. I find that just really weird for finished artwork packaging, that they wouldn't have just removed that. But in any event, it's just the box. So let's pop this guy open and check him out. So here we have Ultron out of the box, and I gotta say, first impression, it is a big, nice looking, a lot of detailed figure. Remember, Ultron is a large dude, so 9th scale for him is 12 inches, so it's a 12-inch tall figure, but it doesn't have all the heft and bulk of a 6 scale figure because it's still scaled, so legs, arms, everything are a little bit skinnier, even though it is 12 inches to compare to like a 6 scale Hot Toys, as it should be. But big dude, a lot of good detail. Let me spin him around and you can take a look from a wide angle. Some of you may know there's also a separate accessory kit that's being released that can kind of bolt onto this guy, probably using magnets, what have you, that can make him into Ultimate Ultron. I forget what they're calling it, but an even bigger, cooler, I believe more comic book version sort of Ultron. So that's a separate kit. It's like $100 in the States, coming out later this year. Here on the back, you can really just see all that great detailing that's worked in there. And we'll definitely go in closer look at all this, but really impressive from a wide angle with just a lot of great detail. And you got like a couple shades of the silver chrome effect, gray, kind of going on across the figure as well. So that's the spin around. My only other add would be it's represented as diecast. It's not like a big, hefty, full-on 100% diecast figure. I think there's a lot of plastic in this guy. I'm not sure what exactly it is diecast, but it really doesn't have the heft and weight of a full-on diecast figure. And don't blame them, because when you look at all that detail, all that molding, clearly they needed to use a lot of plastic, and I think they did. But again, for me, I'm not a diecast fanboy. It wasn't the reason why I bought the figure. But again, they do represent them as diecast. That might be important to you. And I would just say you might want to research that a little bit for this figure, because it's certainly not full-on 100% diecast. So let's go in closer here and check this guy out and really see some of this detail I'm mentioning. You can take a close look at the head sculpt, which is just flooded with detail. It looks really good. Just look at all these fine lines in there. Look at the eyes. I think they did a really nice job. Got these cheek pieces. One of those was actually off when I got them out of the box, but I found it in the box and it just plugs right in there. So that was a relief, but you'll obviously want to be careful with them. But let me just give this guy a little bit of a turn, and you can check out the head sculpt. And they've got that kind of speaker looking dimple thing on the cheek there. They've got a couple tones of the silver gray kind of chrome effect going across the side, which looks really cool. I mean, this guy does look really good. He's been growing on me more and more. I've had him out of the box for a little while, and I wasn't blown away out of the box necessarily, but the more I'm looking at him, just the more and more impressed I am with the level of detail on the figure. And there is tons in the face in the head sculpt, so really nice job there. Other feature with the head, since we're up here, is he does have the kind of a light up effect in the head and in the chest. And I'll show it to you a couple times through the video, but since we're up here, you kind of just lift up his head. Batteries go on the top. There's a simple switch. So I do like the accessibility. It is easy. Flip that switch. And there you've got the red glow. It's pretty good, pretty prominent. You can see how it just kind of leaks through all those different cracks and details in the head. They're not just the eyes, you see it down at the mouth. It kind of actually comes in these lines through the side and back of the head even. It kind of just fades away towards the back. So that is really cool. See how it penetrates all those little lines in the front, especially kind of in the brow area, cheek area. So that's a pretty cool effect. And again, super, super nice head sculpt. Then here on the top of the head, and this might look a little bit darker. I had to change my aperture because the focus was too tight. So back that off, you can see here better the top of the head, get some wider focus. He's got some cool detailing on the top of the noggin there as well. So if we just pan down the figure here, and I'll just let you take it all in, just all the rich detail I was talking about. I'm not going to point everything out because you're looking at it right now, but just a lot of great detail. Very intricate, you know, just like the movie, right? So, and this is why it's obviously not all die cast. They can't have all this molded, and you know, I don't have mixed like this. I'm not sure what's plastic and metal, but like I said, it's too light to be 100% die cast, in my opinion, and too complex, right? Which is obviously why Hot Toys would not have done die cast as well. They did plastic, but didn't make any die cast representations. These guys still call it die cast figure, but it's not clear to me what exactly is all die cast. But just a lot of great detail. See there through the abs section, kind of all the working parts. Look at the top of the forearms. You got some red accents there on the wrists. Got the fist there, which is going to be a complaint of mine. He basically comes with a few sets of hands, but no articulated hands, which I think is just a huge miss for the quality of figure they're going for and the price point they're going for. Why can't you have an articulated hand? And as I always do on 12-inch figures, if you watch my videos, I'm just going to jump down to the midsection and do another pan so you can look at it more straight on, not such a steep angle. But again, a lot of great detail. Love how they use kind of the gunmetal gray, right there in the middle of the thigh versus the more shiny silver versus like even this lighter gray. So kind of just the layering of color, even though it's basically a chrome looking silver figure. There's some layering of color in there that looks cool. A lot of good detail in the calf and foot section. You can see some of the red accents on the inside of the calf, and the feet look really good too. Really cool. And if we give him a spin and go back up top, and we've looked at the head plenty, so I'm going to focus more on the arm detailing there, the shoulder, which looked really cool from the front. You can see how that sweeps around on the side. A lot of nice detail through the arm that you're seeing here, and through the forearm. The hands again, and back of the hand having some of that red accent. And then here I'm just going to get that arm out of the way so you can look underneath a little bit, and you can see all that great chest detailing kind of wraps across the side and just follows through. So really, really cool. Nothing hiding behind that arm. A lot of good detail on the side of the chest as well. Then we get down to the hip section and leg section. And again, let's just make the jump down. Look at this more straight on. You know, a lot of cool detail there in that hip. That's kind of a big classic piece of his style and detail from the movie, and they nailed that really good. All the detail through the legs, just this cool kind of wrapping metal effect is what makes Ultron look so cool. And they did a really nice job replicating that in their figure. Spin them around to the back, and again, a lot of just really nice detail. Take another peek at the head. I think you've seen everything you need to see on the head, but looks really cool. And what's cool is how it just flows down into the back and connects as the figure is designed. So you get these big sort of pieces here, which looked really cool on the Hot Toys version as well, and how they kind of worked with the neck. They are more fixed on this figure. They're just kind of there, and then the articulation starts here, so you don't actually get kind of a full blow effect like you get with Hot Toys. But the detailing is still super cool. And again, we'll just go the rest of the way down. I mean, the back's got a lot of great detail. He has a light up feature in his chest. Not sure if I mentioned that yet. I haven't activated it because there's too much light in here at the moment, but it's just one of these spines, which is super cool. That's the switch to turn on the light, the kind of the torso area. So love the access to the switches with this figure. Sometimes it's a pain in the butt on Hot Toys. These guys, you got a simple one in the head and the back switch. So really accessible if you want to turn the lighting effects on for the figure, which is great, very practical. A lot of great sweeping details through here. Just really, really cool. And if we jump down, he's got like that see-through effect, just like in the movie. So that's really cool. Come down through the back of the legs. I mean, they went for it all, really. There's no neglected areas, right? Focus there. So no neglected areas. Back of the legs look really good. Here's one nit for me. Probably the two quality, quote unquote, quality issues I had was, again, one of the cheek things on the face was off and floating in the box. I found it, reattached it. One of these kind of ankle things is off as well and floating in the box. This piece kind of just, it kind of accommodates the articulation of the foot, whatever. We'll look at it, but this one over here, again, was off. I did find it. It snaps back on, but it keeps falling off. So I'm scared to even put it on there, move the figure around, and end up losing it depending on where it falls off, and I don't notice. So I've just got that in the box. But you can see it makes a big difference. Doesn't look very good over here. Looks cool over here. I like this effect. Okay, here and then this right side, just to show you. I mean, there's nothing different. So I'm going to kind of pick up the pace here because you've kind of seen around the figure everything to see. I'll just do one long pan. You can see it's all basically consistent with the other side and looks really, really good. And you can take a quick look here even at the detail on the inside of the leg, which is pretty cool. Inside the thigh, inside the calf with some of this red accent. A lot of good work inside of the body as well. So I've dimmed the lights here. Just want to show you the light up features a little bit darker. And, you know, I'll say the head is the great piece, right? So you can see that, and you can even see it farther away, and I've shown it to you up close. I've got the chest on. Again, button on the back. You can hear it click. I can see some red in there, but it is not showing up fantastically on camera. You can see it right there again from the side. Make it go away, but it's not like the glow of the face. It's just really a little bit tougher to even see it. Come around the back, you can see it a little bit better. Kind of vents through there, but you got to kind of have almost a side angle because when you look at it flat from the back, you don't see it as much. Again, side angle there, you can see it. So, you know, it probably needs just a little bit more. Looks like it's trying to give a little bit of an underglow through here because I can see a little bit of red kind of reflecting through here, which is cool. But it just needs a little more oomph. Needs a little more power. Again, you can see it through here. Goes up a little bit better live than on camera, but it's there. But it just doesn't really pop. And you can kind of see it through some of these lines in the front of the chest. But it takes like the perfect angle. So it's not great. It needs more pop, especially when you look at how much kind of pop they gave to the head. The chest needed a little bit more. You just don't see it very well. So that was kind of disappointing. Let's kind of chunk out some of the articulation for this guy so you can see it better. So we'll just start upstairs with head movement. You get a good down. You can see how all the neck pieces kind of work in tandem. This is basically one big moving piece. And you get some movement kind of on these shoulder pieces a little bit, which is pretty cool. It doesn't really turn side to side. It tilts. So he can get a little up and down, even a little rock. You know, he can cock his head like that. That's cool. But just flat out spinning it doesn't really work because you can see the neck's just so huge, right up into the how it rubs on the jaw there. So kind of odd, but doesn't really turn side to side. You're left more with these limited movements, looking down, again cocking the head a little bit. Doesn't really look up. So fairly limited. Let's see, in terms of the waist, you know, there's not going to be a waist twist, which should not be a surprise when you look at all this. In terms of kind of crunch down, so I was double checking the instructions. There's really not a lot of articulation guidance in the instructions. They do not indicate any sort of crunch down, even though it almost feels like he kind of wants to, but at the same time, all I see is kind of this gap separating here on the back as well. So it's not clear to me if he's going to crunch down. Doesn't look like it. Not easily. So I'm not going to roll the dice on that one. It's probably not really a pose effect that you need. I mean, what would you have him doing if he could do that? Probably not much. Upstairs, the arm articulation is pretty good. I mean, this is on this big shoulder pad piece that kind of helps accommodate the movement. They can get that out of the way and set that different ways into the shoulder. But that lets you basically 360 the arm. That lets you, if you're careful, get the arm all the way up like this. And again, you're kind of just moving the arm and placing the shoulder joint. There's some swivel up there. So you can bring those forward like that. Looks a little bit odd with where this guy ends up, but can be done. Put his arm out like that. Bend the elbow at a good 90 degrees. And again, the wrist just plug and play on there. The hands, so they'll twist around, rock around. You know, but like I said before, the main thing is the hands are fixed. So there's a few sets of hands I'll show you, but there's no hand articulation, which is weird. But overall, pretty decent arm articulation. You can see how it even kind of lowers the shoulders. So good options there. And if we jump downstairs, let's see here. You can get the leg. There's a panel here. You know, you can get the leg up a little bit. It's supposed to be able to kind of pop out. So the instructions say, though I haven't been able to get that to work either, it says you should be able to kind of pull the hips apart to get more leg movement. Still know about that. They definitely have like a rocking effect in here, but I haven't been able to get them to separate out, which is what it says it should be able to do. Again, just feels like it's going to break off. So, you know, if I can't get his leg out, kind of like this on the leg up, is not great. It's 45 degrees probably. Probably about the same going back, a little bit less. The knee is good. It's like double jointed. He can kick himself in the back practically, if you see that. There's a lot of knee flex. Again, double joint. It does open up a little bit. You can kind of see some gaps there, but again, you're not going to have him in that big of a knee pose probably. So not a big deal. What else did I say? I get a little bit of kind of just rock in here. I can't get it to pop out. No swivel or anything down here through the calf, and you get to the foot. Looks like it's just kind of a little bit on a ball joint. With some accommodating pieces, you just saw that piece accommodate. Toes. Like they don't really move. Maybe just a little bit of flex in the toe. I wouldn't call it posability as much as just flexibility into the toe. Really probably more for detail and assembly than posability. And again, in the back, you can see how that ankle works and how this piece here kind of helps flex dimension that I lost on the other. I didn't lose it, but it's in the box on the other one. So you can get, tilt, roll, all that stuff with the foot. And here, let me just give you some sense for what that articulation can do for you in practice.
What you gonna do when Hulkamania runs wild on you?
Couldn't turn the head to get it all the way there. Okay, he otherwise comes with a couple sets of hands. Like I mentioned, he's got the closed fists on. He has these open hands. Pair of these. Take a closer look. Again, a lot of good detail on the hands. Some of those red accents again. Just kind of an open palm look. And just ball joint, kind of plug and play. Nothing new. But again, no. They're kind of rubberish. So you don't have to worry about breaking them, but they don't articulate. And then here you have the other set. Kind of like, I don't know, a clawing, kind of grabbing sort of action. And they look good. Again, they look good. But just no articulation. Molded plastic, kind of rubbery feel to them. But sharp looking with a lot of nice detail. So you have those two extra sets of hands to go on, as well as the fists on the figure. Then really the final piece is the stand, which is pretty cool. It's not a huge stand, right? It's probably, 6 inches or something across. So pretty efficient in space, which some people might like. It's not a big, huge, clunky stand. It's pretty much big enough for him to be standing on, but not probably doing too much of a pose on there. But he can't do too much with his legs anyway. Get the big Avenger A up top. Avengers of Age of Ultron kind of plate there. And that's it. And for some reason, there's something that kind of rattles in mine. I don't know, but you put some batteries in it, flip the switch, and it lights up. It's a pretty good, strong light. Here, I've turned the lights down, but even when they were on, you could see it. But that's what that looks like. And again, I like it. It's 3 AAA batteries, a simple switch on the side. So again, very accessible, easy to get to the lighting features. And this lighting feature does have a lot of pop. You see that. This also comes with 2 poles, a short one and a tall one. The tall one would be cool to have him more in the air, sort of like a flight pose, if you will, where you could use some of that knee bending articulation to make him look like he's hovering and floating, giving that kind of effect. And a short pole just to kind of stand him. So they have it, guys. King Arts, Age of Ultron, Ultron figure, 1/9 scale, die-cast parts in there somewhere. A super highly detailed, just really, really cool, beautiful figure, really. I think you gotta like sort of the price value too. Again, I bought this from Kingdom, $180. And then you decide how you want to import it. I did it pretty expedited. It cost me $60, so I'm into the thing for about $250. If you took more of an economy shipping, you could probably be more like in this guy for $210. Compare that to online e-tailers like Big Bag Toy Store. I think they're asking like $285 for the guy. So look at importing if you're interested. If you're getting into Iron Man collection, King Arts is going to do a lot. It does a lot of Iron Man in this 9th scale and in diecast. So you might find that to be good for space, good for your wallet, and actually, some really, really beautiful figures as well. And I've noticed they're also going to expand. I've seen them with some Ant-Man and Yellow Jacket kind of teasers, displays as well. So they're going for it. It looks like they're trying to broaden their line, own this 1/9 scale area. And I think it's an option. It's an opportunity. It's different than Hot Toys. If people still want the best, they're probably going to go for Hot Toys, bigger, better, still more detail, articulation, costs more. But, this is not a bad place to be if you want a lot of really cool, high-end, collectible, beautiful figures, but, you want to save yourself 25% or more in cost. All right, guys, so thanks for checking out the figure with me. Thanks for exploring a little bit this whole King Arts, kind of newer supplier, at least to me, and checking them out and hearing my thoughts on that as well. Hope you liked the video. I'll see you next time. Hello, everyone. Dan the 14th Prime here. Today, I want to check out with you the Hot Toys Movie Masterpiece Series 343 6 scale Kal-El. This is Batman versus Superman. Superman figure.